Welcome to the Earthed Women Diaries. My name's Amy and I so appreciate you being here. This is a space where I share my thoughts, feelings and the lessons life is teaching me, as well as raw, meaningful conversations with others. It's not perfect, polished or planned. It's a part of the internet for softness, truth and community. For those who want to live a little deeper, a little more honestly. So let's dive in. I'm grateful to have you here because
Oh, I'm grateful you asked me. Thank you.
I know we've been speaking for a while to just have a chat, really. Just have a chat after both losing our daughters. So I think it's just really important just to just to share processes because I know like for me, and I'll see a little bit about with you, but I know for me when everything did happen, I found that there wasn't loads of people speaking.
hmm
And I found that difficult because I feel like if I had seen more people speaking about similar experiences, it would have made me feel like less alone and less
Yeah.
like shut away and like, oh, I'm not the only one who experiences this. So I don't know loads about what happened with you and your journey. So whatever you do want to share, would you like to share?
Yeah, sure. What do you want me to talk about? Like the whole situation?
Yeah, just really what, you can go into as much or as little detail as you want to. It's totally up to you. But yeah, really what happened on your journey and yeah, just whatever you'd like to share, whatever comes through you to feel called to share, share away.
So I'll just start at the beginning, I guess. So Isabel was diagnosed with cancer at 3 weeks old. She had like some little bruises on her body, and I didn't know where they'd come from. And obviously, I knew no one had hurt her. So her dad actually had a blood condition, so I just kind of assumed that it would be that. So I took her to the doctors, and we were actually really fortunate that Isabel's doctor had had blood cancer because he was able to look at her bruises immediately and be like, this isn't normal, you need to go straight to hospital.
Mm.
Whereas a lot of children aren't diagnosed until their cancer has like really progressed because doctors aren't trained to spot childhood cancer. So we were like really lucky in that instance. So yeah, we obviously went to the hospital and then we didn't really leave again. She spent like most of her life in hospital, to be honest. And yeah, she was given a prognosis of 20 to 30%, and then she went into remission, and then she relapsed at 6 months. So we went to Sheffield Hospital for a month to do a trial, and then that didn't work. So we took her home on palliative care, and then she passed away the week after her first birthday. Um, but yeah, when Isabel was sick, when she died, I wasn't on social media, so yeah, I like you said about people speaking out. I felt very alone as well, and I think being a bereaved parent is really lonely because even if you're surrounded by people, like thank God nobody knows how you feel. So I find like there's just no point talking about it because people can't comprehend you, and it makes people uncomfortable, like you said, and like no one understands. And I don't think it's very helpful to keep talking about something if nobody understands.
Mm.
Like, well, I don't find it helpful anyway.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, I resonate with that a lot. I think people uh try to give you what
Yeah.
they feel you need, but a lot of people are unable to just like listen. Like
hmm
I know that I got a lot of oh, you'll be okay, or it will all be okay, you'll feel better eventually, or almost like dismissive, but not coming from like a dismissive place inside themselves, but people aren't comfortable speaking about death and loss, and especially when it comes to children. I think that's, nobody wants to comprehend a child or a baby dying, but unfortunately, as we both know, it is part of life. And I think the more that it can be spoken about, which is why I wanted to chat with you, the more it can be spoken about and shown that, what things were helpful, what things weren't helpful, like why is it good to speak about it? What did you do in this situation? And all those things, it helps anyone else who is going to go through it because I see just from what I share on social media, the amount of people that are responding back, like, I've gone through this, I've had no one to talk to, I've gone through this, I didn't know if I should share it, I've gone through this, I've gone through this. And it's like, no mother, just speaking about mums, should feel like locked in, like they don't have those people around them, whether that is family, friends, strangers on the internet, whoever that is. Um, so for you, Vix, you said you weren't on social media. What did you find was like the most helpful thing, environment, object, practice, anything you did, whether that was that time whilst you were going through all hospital care and everything like that, or maybe after she passed? What would you say was the most helpful for you?
Sorry, I just wanted to go back and say when I said I think there's no point speaking about it, I didn't mean publicly. I meant, like with like your nearest and dearest, and also just want to be really mindful because I have the best friends and they're amazing and they're so supportive, but it's still really hard to talk about things that people don't understand, and you don't want to make people you love uncomfortable all the time.
Oh,
So,
I feel
yeah.
honestly,
That's what I meant
I
by
had
that, sorry. And it was no criticism to the people around me because they are amazing. And I know that they tried their absolute, and still do their best to support me. But it's, yeah, you know what I mean.
honestly, I resonate so much with that because I was the same. I had so many people like loving me, supporting me, like they were amazing. I'm so, so grateful they were there. But even for me, obviously, birthing differently, not going through the system, even just that part before everything happened with Ether, it's like it was so lonely because if people don't actually understand, they haven't experienced or they haven't been around experiences like it, they find it difficult to actually understand it. So yeah, I totally get
Yeah.
that.
And so with how I coped, I didn't actually cope very well at all for the first few years. Um, and when Isabel passed away, I was very in the matrix. Like my mindset was very medical. Like I didn't know any other way. It's not like I'd heard of other ways and I was dismissing them. I genuinely hadn't even heard of them. Like, I didn't know that nutrition affected your health. Like, that's how naive I was. I was an accountant. I didn't know about homeopathy. I didn't know about energy healing. I remember someone offering me Reiki when I was in the hospital, and I was like, "What the is Reiki?" Like I was so confused. So that was like a massive journey for me after she died, was discovering all these things. But yeah, to start with, I did not cope well at all. I was just disassociated all the time. I drank a lot. I was putting myself in situations that I would never put myself in now, doing things I would never do. Um, and it's just because I didn't want to be at home on my own, crying myself to sleep, wishing that I would die. So I would just drink and party and stay up till 7 and doing things I shouldn't be doing. But I don't have any regrets and I don't have any shame because I survived. And if that's what I had to do to survive, then that's what I had to do because I'm here and it's a better day and I can tell my story.
Yeah, yeah, I get that. And how long would you say that experience of you being in that place was for? And what maybe was the catalyst to like snap you out of that or like be like, right, this has got to change or whatever that was for you?
So I was definitely like that for a good few years. And then I discovered like natural healing. Well, I went to the doctors when Isabel died and I asked for help because I thought that's what you're supposed to do if you're suffering with your mental health. And they said, we can give you these pills. And I said, well, what happens when I stop taking the pills? Because my daughter will still be dead. Are you not just like delaying the inevitable? And they're like, oh no, you can take them for the rest of your life. And this is just such a profound moment for me because I didn't know of any other way, but I knew that wasn't the way. And it was like someone was grabbing me and was like, no, and like literally walked me out of the doctor's office. And I just knew, like, I had complete faith that I would find a better way. I had no idea what it was, but I knew I was going to find it. And then I always say, like, these things found me. So slowly I found like meditation, I learned about nutrition, I learned about homeopathy. And I think it's when I realized that carrying trauma and suppressed emotion in your body is going to create disease. Living the way I was living was going to create disease. I was like, I'm responsible for myself. If I don't do the work, if I just destroy myself, I'm gonna get seriously ill and just die. And what an insult that is to my daughter who had no choice. So I was like, I need to find a way to live and I need to find a way to deal with this so that I can have a good life and do good work in her name.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. I love that. I think there's like that line between really going through the struggle and being like, why am I here? Why am I alive? Why
Mm.
did my baby die and I didn't survive? Like, and actually being able to see any future ahead other than the one that you had envisioned going through a whole pregnancy and birth and things like that. And then on the other side, there's that like the power that comes from the pain of like, well, there's a reason this has happened. There's a reason that I'm still alive. There's a reason that
Yeah.
I'm here to like share the story and help other people and whatever that, looks like for you, for me, for anyone else that experiences it. Um, yeah, so I really, really, really resonate with that. And I know that you started a charity.
Mhm.
Tell us a little bit about that. What's the charity?
So I started the Isabel Baker Foundation like 6 weeks after Isabel died. So I definitely feel like to start with, it was a coping mechanism. Like it was somewhere I could channel my grief. It was something I could still do to be her mum. And that was 10 years ago. So since then, it's grown. It's a nationwide charity now. We do lots of things like food vouchers, dry suits, complementary therapies, holidays. And yeah, just lots of things in Isabel's name to help other families whose children have cancer. And I always say, whatever is meant for you will always be for you because I should have fucked this up about 100 times already. It was not like I've not always been in the good place to be like focused and creating and building, but somehow everything always just falls into place and it keeps growing and expanding. And yeah, I feel really lucky and blessed to have all the support and the people who support the charity and help us support other families.
Yeah, and pouring that grief into something that's going to make such a difference for other people. That's like so
Yeah.
powerful. You're actually supporting other families that are going through it. Um, and obviously that's like you speak, that's somewhere that you can pour your grief into, you can pour your heart into, even in the very, very early days. With in terms of grief, grief shows up in so many different ways for everyone.
Mhm.
How would you say that there's like anywhere in your body or any particular triggers or anything like that that really brought like that grief to the surface for you?
So I think the funny thing about grief is like it can be a trigger you're expecting, or it can be like a random Tuesday and you don't know why you're so upset. But that day you're like, oh, it feels really heavy today and I don't know how to breathe today. And you don't know why, because like you don't necessarily can't think of a reason why you just feel so sad that day, but it's just yeah, it really gets to you. I think in the beginning I was even too scared to go to sleep because I couldn't control my mind when I was asleep. When I was awake, I could control my thoughts and block it out and just muddy on through the day. But then when I was asleep, like obviously I can't control what I see when I'm asleep. And I don't mean like nightmares, I mean like the dreams where we're together again and she's happy and it like everything feels so real. And then you wake up and you're like, oh shit, like it's like you've lost them all over again. And I think those are the worst ones. Um, and just because of her time in hospital, I'd get really triggered by like medical procedures, like other mums talking about their kids having like blood tests or those sort of things would really like throw me. But also, I think that's PTSD as well as grief. But yeah, even now, I still have days where I'm like, oh, it feels really heavy today. Like today's a really hard day. And there's not really like a logical reason. It just is.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's like something that's so important, like for anyone going through any sort of grief, it can be a baby, it can be a person, it can be a partner, it could be a place, there's so many different ways that grief comes through. But I think how you said of like it can be some that you're expecting, like when there's a birthday or an
Mm.
anniversary or anything like that. But then there also can be ones that just there's no reason for it. That you literally, it's like, I do not have an idea why this is coming through right now, but this is coming through. And I think it's really about like honoring it. And I love that you speak about it because, how many years is it now? 10 years.
10 years, yeah.
Yeah. So it's 10 years and it shows like I think that there's sometimes this like impression in society of like, oh, after 6 months you feel like this, and after a year you feel like this, and after this time you feel like this. And it's like grief changes so much. And
Mhm.
one thing that I personally feel is it doesn't get easier. It's just different. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean it's any easier than it was in the beginning, but now it's just different. You've learned to cope with it differently. Like you've learned to channel it in a new way. And I love that you share that, like, even after 10 years, there are still days where you're like, okay, this is coming through and this is just how it is. And really honoring that. I think that that's really important because I know for me, I've had some moments where I'm like, I shouldn't be feeling like this now. And it's like you almost feel guilty for feeling like that,
Mhm.
and really being able to honor that and be like, no, that like there can't be any guilt here. Like we've gone through, we haven't just like lost a person in our life. We've conceived a baby. We've grown them for all that period of time. We've given birth. And then obviously in your instance, you've then spent all those months like in the hospital going through all the treatments. So it's such a massive like change for our body to actually like go through. So yeah, I really resonate with how you speak about that, and I think it's really important for anyone, whether they're going through grief themselves or whether maybe they're supporting other people through grief, is that there is no time limit. It can, well, it will be for your life in some way, shape, or form.
Absolutely. I think grief is just love, isn't it? And obviously we're supposed to mother our children until we die. They're supposed to outlive us. So of course we'll grieve forever. And I think with children, you don't just lose your child, you lose their first steps and their first word and all their birthday parties and their school. Like if you were going to send them to school, I probably wouldn't, but first day of school, wedding, like just all the things that you're supposed to go through with your child, all the milestones, like you lose all of them as well. And it's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a big one. And I know you said like when everything first happened, you wasn't really on social media. What for you, like, did you go onto social media when you eventually did to start sharing about your story, or did you just go on social media and then eventually start sharing your story? What was sort of your journey with that?
So yeah, I didn't go on social media to share my story because that didn't even occur to me back then. Like I just didn't know people use social media for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like, people, well, just used to like share their photos from the weekend, like,
It used to be like, didn't it?
So I think I actually went on it to look for other people because I felt really lonely, like super alone. And I did find some support groups for parents of children with cancer. And I think they served me really well in the first few years. I'm not in them anymore because I just feel like they served their purpose and they weren't the right place for me anymore. Um, but yeah, to start with, I did find that helpful. I mean, I never spoke in them, but I think just reading about other people's experiences definitely helped me feel less alone. And then obviously I use social media to promote the charity and do all the charity things.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, so when would you say was the turning point when you did decide to speak a little bit more about your story and your journey?
Honestly, I think it's only been like the last few years that I felt able to do that. Um, yeah, I was really disassociated for a really long like time. And honestly, I don't think my brain even accepted that Isabel had died until recently, which I know sounds weird, but I would have this reoccurring dream all the time that I needed to go and pick her up.
Mm.
And like in my dream, it was like, you've forgotten to pick up Isabel, you need to go and get her. And it was always the same dream. And it was like, logically, I knew she wasn't here, but I don't know if my subconscious mind could accept that. Um, yeah, it's very weird.
Yeah. And do you feel like it's helped you by sharing your story more now and speaking about it and sharing it?
Yeah, I definitely feel like I had to heal myself and get to a place where I felt comfortable like being vulnerable and not really like caring what other people thought about that.
Mhm.
And not worrying about how people were going to judge me or if they were going to pity me or like if they, which is the one thing I hate. Like, I never wanted people to pity me, which is why I didn't talk about it as well. Because, like, fucking hell, I don't want people, sorry, I just swear a lot.
Yeah.
I don't want people feeling sorry for me. Like, there's no need. I'm fucking strong as Knox.
Yeah. No, I get, do you know what? I love that you've said that because that's actually been coming up for me recently of like I shared a lot quite early when it first happened, and I'm 3 years in now, but I shared a lot in the beginning and then I went a little bit quieter about it. And only recently when I've started sharing again and it's like gone very viral on TikTok and things like that. And I have received so much love, some of the opposite, but I have received so much love. And it's really made me reflect on like, why did I stop sharing? Why did I at the beginning feel like I really wanted to share and then went quite quiet with it? Like, what was that? And I feel a big part of it was like, I didn't want people to feel sorry for me. I'm not sharing for people to like pity me or feel
Yeah.
sorry for me. It's like, no, I don't want that. Like, I love to speak about it. It helps me. I
Mm.
would speak about the story every single day and keep telling it if I could and I wouldn't drive people crazy. I absolutely would because like the whole experience was like amazing and magical. And I'm like, it's like every time I speak about it, I'm kind of, I guess I'm making it a bit more real. So it's
Hmm.
like I'm I'm healing more. I'm allowing my body to accept more that like this has actually happened. And yeah, that's what's come up for me a lot recently of like I didn't want to feel pity or sorry or anything like that. I just want to be able to share my story. And I think yeah, that really resonates with how you say you don't want people to like pity you. And I think that's a big thing because a lot of people like I even had someone comment on the TikTok and they were like, "Oh, you're doing this just for views." And it's like no, I'm not. I don't care if nobody views my page. This is like my diary almost, and I'm just choosing to share it with people. And it's just really interesting where other people's like minds go. And I think whether you're like conscious of it or not, it does have an impact. So then it's like, well, I don't want people to like pity me or feel sorry for me or think I'm doing it for this reason. It's like, no, I've got to be strong in myself and no, this is why I'm sharing my story. Um, so yeah, I really resonate with you speaking that.
I think that's the other thing as well, is I don't want people to think I'm attention seeking, like using what happened to my daughter to get likes on
Mhm.
fucking Instagram. I
Yeah.
mean, I lose followers daily. Like, I don't give a shit. I just share what comes into my head. I
Yeah.
don't care if I have 5 followers or 5,000. Like, it just doesn't matter. I don't have a strategy. I'm not posting for a purpose. Like, I'm not even trying to sell anything. I'm just sharing my story and whatever comes into my head, whatever I'm experiencing. And like you said, it
Yeah.
really helps me process it. And I think like talking about it out loud as well is like super healing. Even if no one comments or no one likes it, just processing it and putting it out there does something to the brain that is like healing.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's when, like, with the brain, if you're like literally writing, like in a journal, journaling's great, it's amazing. But then if you're typing, if you're then doing a video, all of it uses different parts of the brain. So it's like it is going to help with the healing, like
Yeah.
the more you do it and you express. And I did a little video about this earlier, but it's like if you don't express it, you're going to depress.
Yeah.
And you have to let it out, and everyone's different way. Everyone will have different ways of doing that, and some people won't want to share their journey or their story, and that's okay. Not everyone is here to share everything that they go through with a loss. Other people are here, and we are here. That's what we're here to do. We're here to share and support each other. And one thing that's been quite a big thing for me is, and obviously, like I've gone through 3 years, you've gone through 10 years. I've definitely found at different stages, like of my healing journey, my relationship with Aoife has really changed. So it's like different ways of connecting and like different ways that maybe I'll hear her or see her or feel her or whatever that will be, depending on like where I'm at. Would you say that over the 10 years you've experienced that at all?
Yeah, I feel like I've always had a really strong connection to Isabel, and I feel like even when your children die, there's just you can't sever the bond between a mother and a child. Like death is not strong enough to do that. Nothing is. And you will always like feel connected to your child and connected to their spirit and their soul. And yeah, I always can feel her very strongly.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. It's just because someone isn't here physically, it just definitely reiterates the strength in like energy and
Hmm.
in the spirit. And obviously, we're here having these experiences in these bodies, and it just is what it is. But we're not going to be here forever. And
No,
it's like just when our physical body dies, it doesn't mean that we die. It's
no.
just these physical bodies are no longer here on this earth experiencing life as we know it now. And that's what's so powerful about when someone does die. And I think it's definitely helped me because even though I did feel in the beginning a really strong connection to Aoife, the more I've like connected to her and accepted the journey, the more I felt her. It's almost like I had to like fully trust and accept in what was happening in order to fully receive the connection and the energy. And obviously mine was a little bit different because obviously Aoife was born sleeping. You had that time, you had those months, so you obviously had that physical connection that you two got to go through together. So it is different. But yeah, I think the power of the spirit and the energy. Like I saw someone share something recently about like when a mum does fall pregnant, I think it's like the baby's DNA or something is like imprinted in the mum. It like changes the DNA, and regardless of where the pregnancy might end or where the child might die, that's like always there. And I think that's so powerful.
Absolutely. And I 100% believe that when it's my last day on Earth, I will be like reunited with Isabel again and I will see her again. And I like 100% believe that.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And with other people, whether that's family, friends, strangers on the internet, what would you say has either been the most helpful or the least helpful? And that could be when it first happened, or that could be like up until today.
Um, so I think the most helpful is my friends have, and my family actually, they don't judge me. They just love me anyway. And I think that's like super important because when you're grieving, you're going to just be like so many different people and have so many different emotions and do so many different things. And they've been consistent throughout like all of my stages. And they aren't trying to like make me talk about things I don't want to talk about or do things that I don't want to do. Like they just accept me how I am. And I think that is amazing. I think the least helpful is people who are like, oh, I don't know how you cope. How are you coping? And I was like, much better before you ask me that.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I
you do.
mean, it's not their fault, it's my fault. It's a me trick, right? I know that. Like, they're not doing anything wrong. It's just it's my shit that I need to deal with. But that's yeah, I hate that sort of thing.
Yeah. But it is also the thing of like, well, regardless of what's happening behind doors and like whether you feel like you are coping or not, it's like, what else are you supposed to do?
Yeah, like you
It's
just don't
like,
have a choice. It's cope or die. And I literally asked God to kill me every single night for a long time, and He didn't. So I had to give up on that and get on with my life.
it was like, nope, you've got more important things here to do. Yeah.
I mean, it's really bad that we're just laughing about just the level of trauma that that's like actually just funny now.
No, and it is crazy because it's like there is like it's only recent that I waves come through me and I'm like I just don't want to be here. Like why am I here? What is the point of me being here? Why did I survive? Why isn't Aoife here? Like it just doesn't make sense. But I also am much better now at honoring that part of like not judging it. And there will be moments that I feel like that because your heart hurts. It really hurts. You miss your baby and you miss your child. You miss all the firsts that you'll no longer get to have. And I think the ability to be able to laugh is also really important because it is very sad. It is heartbreaking. It is very serious. There's all that part of it, but it's like you have to also find the joy and the happiness and the funniness and everything else that comes through it because when you're in a different mindset, like obviously we're both on here, we're doing this and we're grounded and whatever else is happening, it's like we can laugh about it. Maybe in a month's time, we might go through a difficult phase and we're not able to laugh about it, and that's okay. So I also feel like it's really just about embracing the moments that are coming up and being able to have that joy and that laughter and like reflect on it in, I guess, a bit of a light-hearted way. Like there's no judgment to it. It's like that's an experience that comes through. You ask God to not leave you here anymore, but He doesn't listen. So
Didn't know. I remember before Isabel died, I used to pray every night for him to put the cancer in my body and take it out of hers. Then after she left, I would pray every night. I was like, I don't want to kill myself, so If you could just take me while I'm sleeping, that would be great.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think as well, I sorry, there was two other important things that I think have really helped me that might be useful for other people, and that is working with a good homeopath. I think that has made like the biggest difference, just shifting the energy through my body. I feel like a completely different person. I've been working with a homeopath for like 18 months now, and I definitely feel like the shift in energy and like the processing, and I've been able to process things so much more, like speak more openly. Just I feel so different. And also emotion code. I don't know if you've heard of that. My
Yeah.
friend does emotion code with me, Lou. And that has just made the biggest difference as well.
Yeah. I love that. Were they both, obviously you said with the homeopath you've been working for about 18 months, and then with the emotion code, is that like around the similar time? Did you feel like you started to like dig into them around like
Yeah, I think so, around the similar time. Yeah. I mean, Lou is one of my best friends, so we just do that like ad hoc. She one day will be like, right, you need an emotion code. But every time she does it, it just has the most profound like changes. It's wild.
yeah, yeah, I love that. Diving into because I think a lot of people would like for me, I haven't like truthfully, I use homeopathy a lot, but I haven't thought about maybe looking to potentially work with a homeopath or something like that. And that's actually really put into me now, like maybe that's something that I should actually dive into because I know that there is still, I still have a lot of waves. I am very, I give grace to myself and I'm like, I know it's still early days, but I definitely feel that right now I'm definitely in a place of almost feel like I've gone through all the tools in my local proximity that I feel like I can use. And it's like, I still feel like I need that little bit more right now. And I don't really know what that is. So I'm gonna have a look into that for sure.
And I feel like it's not to get rid of the grief because you can't do that, but I feel like the more you heal, the more space you have for it. Like the easier you can carry it, the easier you can process it. Like the more comfortable you get with it. Like I don't know how to explain it properly, but you have to make friends with it because it's going to be with you for life, and there's nothing we can do about that. It just is. And so I just feel like yeah, you have to make friends with it and get on with it.
Yeah, it's true, because otherwise, like you're the only one that's going to suffer.
Yeah, you're just going to be battling it forever. Whereas if you can accept it and just give yourself grace and allow yourself time and allow yourself, like, yeah, it's shit. We can't stop it from being shit. Like, it just is. So you just have to be kind to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really important because yeah, making friends of it is a great way to speak about it because it is going to be here forever. It's,
Mhm.
you hear people say about 30 years ago my baby died and I still like struggle all the time with it and things like that. And I think it is going to be with us and we can choose to not not consciously play a victim, but we can really choose. We have a choice at the end of the day. We do have a choice. And like you've shown from the journey that you've gone on in the beginning, where you were, diving into things that weren't sustainable. You couldn't have kept doing them forever. Like your body would not have allowed you to do it. But that was the path that you were pulled towards, and that's what happened. But then you go down your other path, and then it like takes you away from that one and down into that one. So you learn to just live with the grief in different ways. And yeah, I think that that's a really big reminder for not only anyone going through it, but also anyone who knows anyone going through grief, um, just to be able to support them better.
And I think as well what you just said is really important to mention. I think if you looked at my Instagram, you'd think I was probably just one of those really lucky people who's just really healthy. But by the time I actually turned my life around, I was so ill. I had like Sin 4 cells on my cervix, which is like the one before cancer. Like they didn't actually know if it was cancer or not when they did the biopsy. I had all the symptoms of fibromyalgia. I had all the symptoms of chronic fatigue. I was taking Nurofen every day. Like I used to drink Lemsips like coffee just to get through work because I had body aches and chills and exhaustion, and I was in a really bad physical state. Um, and that was all of my own doing from being self-destructive.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. But look where you are now.
Yes, look where I am now. But it doesn't happen overnight. I mean, you have to just take your baby steps and keep going and keep going and keep going and actually want to feel better and want to be healthier. And everyone has the ability to alchemize their pain. Like everyone has the ability to take it and turn it and create something with it, like you're doing with your page and like sharing. And I think it's a really good way to like honor our children as well, to be like, this is what we're doing for you, like in your name, because we love you so much. We're taking all that love we have for you and we're going to create something amazing with them, put it out into the world.
Yeah, it's so important. At the end of the day, they're not here to be able to do it themselves.
No.
And we've had the honor of growing them and birthing them. So why not continue that? And I always say to people as well, like when people say, why are you sharing her photos and why are you sharing this, that, and the other? And it's like, if she was alive, people wouldn't be asking me why I'm sharing photos of her.
Yeah,
Just because she's not physically here, why shouldn't I share photos still of her? And I think
exactly.
what we were speaking about earlier of like the whole death and people not being able to actually accept death and they get very triggered and like they can't comprehend it in their mind. So their sort of only way to sort of communicate is like, but why are you doing that? Like, it doesn't make sense. And when you take away like the physical, so you don't even see the baby as a physical baby. It's like it's a spirit, it's a soul, it's what's come through, it's graced this earth for however long it's graced this earth. You really start to see things differently between like, oh, my baby's alive and my baby's like dead. It's like, no, it's like my baby was here. My this is my baby, regardless of what's happening now. This is my baby, and being able to share that is really powerful.
And all the love you have has to go somewhere.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like really beautiful when it can go to something that can be such a like positive force to help other people, which is what you're doing.
Yeah, it's so true. And for you, just as we sort of start to wrap up, if anyone either was going through a similar situation that you went through with their child, or they'd maybe just lost their child, what would maybe some of your top tips or support or anything like that that you would maybe give or offer?
So I remember someone showing me this diagram and it was really powerful. And it was like this black circle and it said like this is your grief. And in the beginning, like this is your life. It's very tightly around it. And the grief will never change, but your life will just get bigger and bigger and bigger around the grief. And so I always tell people like it is shit. Like I'm not gonna tell you you're gonna lose your child and it's gonna be okay. It's not gonna be okay. I'm not gonna gaslight you and tell you everything is gonna be fine because it's gonna be really fucking hard. But you will find it easier to carry over time. Like you just have to hold on. And every day, every month, every year, you will find new joys in life, new reasons to laugh, new reasons to smile, and you will enjoy your life again. It might not happen straight away, and you will feel really guilty for smiling, and really guilty for laughing, and really guilty for having fun for a really long time. And people will tell you, oh, but they wouldn't want you to feel like that, and you want to punch them in the face because no, they probably wouldn't want to be dead either, but what are you gonna do? Like, people are gonna like invalidate you and minimize your feelings, and it doesn't fucking matter. You get to feel them anyway. Just feel all of your feelings and just hold on and find the others. Find the others. Find the women who are ahead of you. Because by finding the people who are ahead of you, that will give you hope that you can keep going.
Yeah, and that's why I'm so passionate about sharing because I couldn't find that when I was going through it. I found it really hard. And it's like you can't see that, not that you ever get to like fully healed. Oh, I'm amazing now. I'm absolutely fine. But there is that light at the end of the tunnel. And when you're going through it and you're in the thick of it, you can't see that light at the end of the tunnel. You're laying there all night. You can't sleep, you can't eat, you don't want to do anything. Like you don't know what your life's going to look like. And that's why I am so passionate to like speak about it because it's like it doesn't just get easy and everything's okay. It's still shit. It's fucking shit. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't wish it on absolutely anyone, but it happens. And when you see that there are other people out there doing amazing things who have gone through the loss, who have gone through the grief, and can sit there and honor their pain and honor how difficult it is, but they can also show you how amazing life can also be. That would have been so helpful for me when I was going through it.
And I think as well, you just develop like a new appreciation of life. I think you have so much gratitude and appreciation for things that most people don't even think about. Because when you've just felt pain that deeply, like everything looks so different. And I remember actually talking about finding the others when Isabel was palliative. Obviously, I was on a cancer ward where a lot of children died, so I was watching them die while Isabel was dying. And I remember thinking, like, okay, that lady's still alive, so if she can survive it, I can survive it. And then, oh, she's been alive for 2 months now since her baby died, so okay, I can do that as well. And I think that is the one thing that got me through is like looking at them and being like, okay, they've made it, I can make it.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, seeing, like you said, seeing that person or group of people who have already been through similar of what you've been through, seeing where they are and being like, I can do this then. There is that
Yeah.
next step. Right? If they can do it, I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. And keep seeing. And that gradually gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then you become that support for other people. And
Yeah.
it's just that continued community and circle. I think that that's so important. Um, is there anything else before we close that you would like to add or share or anything at all?
I don't think so. I don't know. I feel like we covered it. Is there anything you can think of?
Not really, no. I'm going to I will do you have like a website or anything for your charity?
Yes, so it's isabelbakerfoundation.com. And
Okay,
we've got
so
our Instagram page as well.
amazing. I'll pop them in the description anyway so people can like pop over, have a little browse, get to know your story a little bit more. Yeah, and I just appreciate you coming on. I know that it can be a difficult subject, but I also think showing the light and the positivity that comes from really dark and challenging places is
Mhm.
so important. So I really appreciate you coming on, chatting with me, being open, sharing your story, and I'm sure there will be more to come in the future.
Yes, thank you so much.